All right, welcome back to another episode of Manhattan Mondays. We're here with Sports Park and Recreation Commissioner Calvert White. Please, thanks for joining us, Calvert. How are you doing today?
Wonderful, man. Thank you for the information. It's always a pleasure when I could get the information of the department out to the public and kind of educate the people of what the department is doing and what we plan to do in the future. So I really appreciate you guys for this opportunity.
It's not a problem. Thanks for joining us. We're going to start with the first question. Let's start by discussing the recent completed projects. I know the department was able to host a few virtual summer camps this summer. How did you feel about that, how that went, and what is the feedback you received from students and parents?
Yeah, it was something new for us. COVID has changed the world, and we're no exception to that. We had to come up with some new creative ideas to keep the department going. It's funny because when we started to do some research on our virtual program and I went online, it's amazing to see how many different states and stuff was doing virtual programs. I mean, I'm talking about hundreds and hundreds of summer camp. We entertained the idea of having in-person summer camp early on when the COVID started. But then when we saw a lot of summer camps in the States where camps had to close and kids were contracting COVID, we didn't want to take that chance. So we decided to do the virtual and the staff did an excellent job coming up with multiple programs that we thought we could give to the community and have them participate from the safety of their home. So some of the things we did, we had a virtual art class, we had virtual basketball, we had a virtual volleyball camp, and we had a virtual baseball camp. Let's be honest, guys, you're never going to be able to get the full effect of sports doing something virtual. Sports is one of those things that you have to have that experience in person for it to really work. But nevertheless, we decided to try it for the first time. And within the first 72 hours, we already had several hundred people signing up for the summer camp. So we knew that it was something that parents was looking for something for their children to do. Again, it was new to us, so we know it was going to be trial and error when we did it. We had several platforms where we carried out the program on Zoom. We streamed it on our Facebook page. And we were able to interact with the children doing it. Again, it's not the same as in person when you're talking about training for basketball or for volleyball. But we overall, we thought we did a pretty good job getting those programs up to the community.
Just a follow-up on that. We spoke when you were doing the camps at the beginning of the summer, and you mentioned that like one of the biggest part of the summer camp was children interacting with each other. How do you feel that they were able to do that on the platform and you guys were able to carry that out? I know it's tough.
Yeah, it again is something that I think going forward, a lot of virtual stuff is going to be our norm. So it's something that we're going to have to adapt to. I will say that we saw that from when we first started to when we finished, the numbers kind of dwindled a little bit. So let's say we started off with 300 people. Those numbers was less by the time we finished because, the main reason to go to summer camps is to meet your friends, to interact with your friends and play. You want to run up and down and be able to conversate with your friends. The virtual program doesn't allow you to do that because your interaction is really with the person that's putting on the program. You have to pay attention to what they're doing and follow up. So you don't really have that interaction to talk to your friend and say, well, did you get this drill or how do you do this? So that part of it was lost to the virtual programs. But again, it's something that we're going to have to adjust to going forward.
I know we're still under stay-at-home orders, but school is coming up. And is there any discussions about doing some of these virtual sessions for after school or to help?
Absolutely. I know for sure we're going to continue the basketball trainings. The guys that run the baseball virtual programs asked me to continue that. I've had some communications with the art teacher to forward that. here's the challenge that we're going to face. And when we started doing our numbers and kind of looking at the times that we can do our camps, during the summertime, our camps was run during the daytime. Of course, the children was out of school. They didn't have any classwork, any schoolwork to do. Once school starts back, we know we'll have to move our timeline to after school. The challenge is going to be, you're going to have students that's in front of a computer from 8 a.m. till 3:30. And then you're asking them to be in front of the computer for another 2 hours after that. So it's going to be really, really tough. We are going to get those students that really, really want to participate and want to do things virtually. I don't expect the numbers to be as high as summer camp because, like I said, they wasn't in front of the computer all day. One of the challenges for school is going to be trying to keep these children attention during the daytime between 8 and 3. And like I say, to ask the normal student to stay in front of school and do education in front of computer, and then, oh, by the way, we want you to stay in front of it for another 2 hours, it's going to be really, really tough. So here's where, and here's the positive I look at of COVID. I think when it came to sports, we lost that family aspect of it. You know, the dad is not involved, or the mom wasn't involved. You would just drop off your children to their program and have them go home. Now is when the family impact is going to have to take a role. Parents are going to have to say, hey, we are going to set an hour out of our schedule every day, 5:30, 6 o'clock, where we go outside and we do some kind of recreational activity. You know, and we're going to be pushing several programs where we encourage parents to interact with their kids to do that type of stuff.
Is there any project that the department's working on that you would call like the most important at the moment or anything like that?
All of them.
All of them?
All of them. Listen, here's the thing. We know that recreation is very, very important to people. You know, it's a way to stress relieve yourself. It's a way to clear your mind. You know, COVID-19, you know, really, really threw a damper from my department's standpoint, because I really, really felt that prior to COVID-19, the department started to see some momentum. We started to get some great things. We had a lot of different programs going territory-wide, and the employees were excited to bring more activities. And we all but basically got shut down since COVID-19. Our facilities are closed right now. Because of safety precautions, we haven't allowed people to use the facilities. So to answer your question, there are some facilities that are more important than others, some programs that are more important than others, but really and truly, I look forward to when we can get our facilities back open to get people then coming back to our fields.
A quick question about that though, like, so with the facilities being closed, sometimes that's like an opportunity to get work done that you couldn't get done when they were open. Have you been able to do projects like that during the
Again, I try to take the positive out of every negative. You know, COVID-19 have allowed the department to focus now on our FEMA projects. I tell people all the time, unless you're really a part of dealing with FEMA, you have no idea the amount of paperwork and documentations and meetings you have to go through to get a project from beginning to end. And when I say end, where you actually see somebody doing the work. And because there are no recreational programs right now, we have took this opportunity to really, really focus on our FEMA projects. You know, the maintenance staff are doing little stuff that we needed to be done. You know, now's the time to do painting to kind of make buildings look a little, you know, it's amazing what simple paint would do to a building. Any little fence work that we could do, doors. But right now, me and my staff are focused really on our FEMA projects, trying to get those out system where we can actually award contract to somebody to get work started.
I want to ask you about, I know you have a virtual forum coming up on Tuesday. I want to give you some opportunity to tell the community what it's about and why they should tune in.
Yeah, so, Senator Saro's office reached out to me and we had a conversation basically about, where we going uh, here with sports. And James, I could be honest with you, sports, not just in the territory, but worldwide, it's just an uncertainty right now. Every day you don't know how the numbers are going to be, what different guidelines are going to be put in place. So in that conversation with her, we decided, let's try to get all the sports-minded people that have a significant stakehold in sports in the Virgin Islands involved. And let's have a conversation and see where is sports and recreation going to go forward from it. So, myself is going to be there representing the department. I think Kirby Calendar was invited from education because they run all the education sports. We invited somebody from Little League because we know Little League is a big organization and serves a lot of children. We wanted 1 or 2 athletes because we want to hear the athletes' points of view from where they would like to see sports going. I think we invited a couple of females. We want to know where women's sports is going from here. And then I reached out to my good friend Roger Bell because Roger, not only as a former professional athlete, Roger do a lot of travel basketball in Miami with different teams and whatnot. So he can give us a more detailed aspect of how travel has been for them up there. And, he does a lot of commentary and whatnot. So it's a great panel. I'm looking forward to the discussion. It's September 8th at 7 p.m. I think Senator Saro would be giving out the Zoom platform or numbers pretty soon. But I'm looking forward to that because I think as a whole, as a community, we have to come together and kind of see where we're going to go from here during this COVID-19.
I'm a big believer in that, like, sports teaches athletes a lot of lessons that translate off the field. Being a former professional basketball player yourself, what are some of the skills from your playing career that have translated to your post-playing career? Like,
oh man, I use my experience from playing basketball a lot. One of the things that I try to do is always be on time. So I had a college coach that was the stickler for time. If practice was at 12 o'clock, by 11:45, you had better been in the gym or else you was considered late. So even now, my watch is always set 10 minutes early. And I've always done that since I left college. But, any sport that you play entails some kind of discipline. If you're serious about that craft and in the real world, you have to have discipline. The choices you make, if you want to go farther in your craft, you have to put the work in, and it's the same thing in the real world. So I'm a firm believer also that sports teaches our children or prepares them for when they go out in the real world.
To piggyback on that, because you were a professional athlete, you know how important, I guess, 11 and 12th grade these years are for the kids. Is there anything your department can do to help make sure that this is not a lost year for these kids?
Yeah, so I think that's going to be part of the conversation we have during the forum. If the Department of Education decide that they're not going to have sports this year, we are going to have to create some kind of alternative, whether it's a training camp, so that we can get actually tape out for these guys to give to colleges. Because when you're going to a school, the first thing they're going to want to do is ask what kind of athlete you are. They're going to want to see some video of games and whatnot. So that is something I think between the Department of Sports, Park and Recreation and the Department of Education and the coaches, if we can't have games, I think we can create some kind of safe environment where we do some kind of mini camp for our 11 and 12 grade athletes. Let them come in and do drills, 1-on-1 or 2-on-2s in football. Preseason is a lot of drills, but that's something that we can probably do and do it in a safe way, that can ensure that, one, they're staying in shape, two, they're still practicing their craft, and then three, we give them an opportunity to actually showcase what they can do so that they can get that out to coaches.
I heard like three different groups of people in that. You said the coaches, the Department of Sports, Park and Recreation, and the Department of Education. How important is it to get everybody on the same page when you guys are moving forward?
It is very, very important, because so much of what each department does, we all need each other to make it happen. So, for example, although the Department of Education is the organization that heads interscholastic and deal with school sports, many of the facilities that they use belong to me. So we have to be on the same page, practices, games, and a lot of the stuff that we do also. The athletes that come to our programs are coming obviously from the Department of Education. They're in school and whatnot. So I think comprehensively together, all of us need to be on the same page to kind of shape what we want an 11 and 12 grade athlete to look like. And then we need to put forward that effort.
I've seen the work under your tenure, what your department has done in terms of trying to push sports tourism. Mm-hmm. Can you explain to me the reasons why you feel the territory has so much potential in creating sports tourism in the Virgin Islands?
Well, I think that the territory itself sells to people. I always ask people, and we've been to several sports conferences that kind of lure people to come to the U.S. Virgin Islands to take their tournaments or conferences. And we always ask them, would you rather go to Wyoming to play in a basketball tournament, or would you rather go to the Virgin Islands to play in a basketball tournament? It's an easy sell. The territory is an easy sell. The fact that we're U.S. territory and you don't need a passport, people want to get to warm weather. If they can play sports and also enjoy themselves while they're there, it's nothing hard that we have to do. We have had a lot of conversations with different organizations about bringing their tournament or event to the Virgin Islands, and they're always interested. What my job is now is to make sure that we have the facilities to deal with those type of events. And that's something that we're working on right now, dealing with the FEMA process. I know it's a long process, but I think once we start seeing, actually hammer pounding nail in some of these facilities, I think that people are going to like the changes that we make.
One of the recent events pre-COVID that I think was really, really cool that the department played a big part in was the DC United Bermuda soccer game. And you talk about facilities. So that complex got built last summer. I believe it finally opened up. So when you talk about facilities open and events like that, what really goes into making those things happen?
Well, first off, money. Always money when you need a facility, but we know that FIFA supports soccer tremendously. I mean, they worldwide support the federations. And you've heard the old saying, if you build it, they will come. I'm a true believer of that. Without that field, we would not have been able to host an event like that. So we see what a field like that brought to the territory. I mean, DC United is one of the top teams in Major League Soccer, professional team, and we was able to bring them to the Virgin Islands. And this was just 7-8 months of planning before we came up with the idea to them actually coming here. So, if we can, with the finishing of Polly Joseph Stadium, hopefully next year, we'll be able to lure some baseball teams to the territory. We have some ideas that we have in place to probably bring a cricket field, also a soccer field on the island of St. Thomas. Soccer is doing some tremendous stuff. They're doing some mini soccer fields now. We have some conversations about that. There's 2 fields that we're thinking about converting into some big open spaces where sports like cricket and soccer can play. So all of that is in the works right now. Like I said, as humans, we're visual people. So a lot of people are not seeing what's going on right now. So they feel that nothing is going on. That is so far from the truth. The amount of meetings that we have with FEMA and discussions and things that we want to do to our facilities, it's a lot going into it. I'll give you an idea. You know, LED lights, and people might say, you know, they're just lights. That's nothing big. But from changing the facility or like a field like Griffith Park from the high metal lights to LED lights, it's such an enormous thing for us to do. Currently, if you turn on the lights at Griffith Parks, it takes about 15 to 20 minutes before those lights come on. You have to warm up. They come on a low beam, and then when they get hot, they illuminate. And then if power goes, which we know happens a lot, to turn it back on again is going to take another 20 to 25 minutes because then they have to start the whole process again. With LED lights, you hit that flitch, you instant lights right away. But not only that, we are going to be able to save, I'm talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars if we can convert our lights to LED across the territory, because we're talking about moving lights from a 1500 bulb to getting the same amount of lights and wattage to using a 400 LED bulb. So, you know, little things like that people don't really take the time to think of. It's really big for the department and big for sports as a whole in the territory.
No, I completely understand what you're talking about with that, because I know playing softball and stuff, I've always heard how expensive the lights are. That's why it's difficult for you guys to have, you know, like extras and you know, if something goes out, you could just change it. I mean, it is a lot of money to put into lights. I mean, so I'm glad to hear that you guys are.
And not only that, James, you know, the system that we have right now is so outdated. When you call companies and you try to find ballast and wiring, you know, people are not making them anymore because everybody's moving to LEDs. So, you know, I think it's time that we kind of modernize our facilities also. We had a test run where we changed the lights to LEDs at Emile Griffith Park basketball courts. And the lights are beautiful there. I mean, they come on just like that. We already started to see savings. So we are in the process of having the conversation with FEMA to convert all of our lights to LEDs.
To stick with fields, we just talked about the Bethlehem field, and it's a beautiful field. I love that field. What's the plan to finish? I guess I know you have the stands on one side. I heard that you guys might want to put stands on the other side, or what's the plan to finish that field?
So I don't know if a lot of people know. So that facility is a privately owned facility. It's not owned by the government. So it's on government land. But the Soccer Association, they got a grant from FIFA to build that stadium. I think it was some $4 million. So they are in the process of putting additional bleachers. I know there's a VIP section that's supposed to go behind the goal. And then there's property down from it where we've had discussions of putting a cricket field. So that facility is not finished. They are going to be adding some stuff. I have a great working relationship with the president, Mr. Hillary Frederick. But we are also in conversations of them trying to build a soccer field to St. Thomas. Maybe not at that magnitude, but if we can get a turf field, like I said, we can bring a lot of different events to the territory.
Can you also tell me about cricket? How much excitement is there for cricket in the Virgin Islands?
You know what? Being a sports advocate, I am not a cricket player, but I know the history of cricket. I know what cricket does as far as bringing fans to a territory. So things like that gets me excited. I don't have to be a cricket player to know that if we have a cricket field here and we hold a cricket tournament, thousands and thousands of people are going to come to the Virgin Islands. And that's what sports tourism is about. So it just makes sense that sometime in the near future, we really need to entertain and see if we can somehow build a cricket pitch where we could now host Caribbean cricket tournaments.
I know I'm talking about sports tourism and bringing thousands and thousands of people to the territory. Paradise Jam usually does, they celebrated their 20th anniversary last year. Yeah. But I know college basketball is kind of in flux, waiting to see what happens with college football before they make any decisions. Yeah. But do you think that if college basketball season goes as planned, that the Virgin Islands could kind of create a bubble environment, being isolated and keeping players in their hotels?
So I know I'm real good with the organizers of Paradise Jam, and they've already had conversations with the different teams and stuff that was slated to come here. If the tournament do go on, I feel that it's going to be without fans. It's going to be limited to who needs to be in the gym. It's a tough decision, because when you talk about the bubble, and the only reason the NBA have been successful with the bubble is because they have everything that they need within that bubble. You don't leave that facility for any reasons. And if you leave, you have to quarantine before you're allowed to associate with anybody else. So bringing teams to the Virgin Islands, it wouldn't really be a bubble, because we know once they leave the gym and they go to the hotels or they have to go to eat, they're still out in the community. I tell people all the time, you have the NFL, which is $1 billion company. You have the Major League, which is worth $1 billion. And we see they haven't been able to prevent their players from contracting COVID-19. The only reason the NBA have done it is because they have isolated everybody within that bubble. But unless you are able to do that, there's really no way to stop people from contracting this virus. Our hope and what the CDC and Department of Health has been doing is just trying to minimize the amount of people that get it. Paradise Jam is not canceled. I am still optimistic that it'll be able to happen. Hopefully next month we'll see where this virus dies down tremendously, where we could still have basketball. But I'm just ready for sports to start back again. They say you never miss the water till the well runs dry, and I've never been, since I was a kid, been without sports. It's not a good feeling. It's not something I want to get used to.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the sports we have now. I mean, I want to talk about some national stuff. How do you feel about how the NBA playoffs are going?
Yeah, it's no surprise to me. As a matter of fact, before the game started, I had a conversation with some people, and I said, there's no favorites in the NBA bubble. As a former athlete, you have no idea what home court advantage does for your team. Your fans give you an extra boost. You're sleeping in your own house, so you're not traveling. You don't have to deal with that jet lag. You're eating the foods that you want to eat. So that gives you an advantage over a team that has to travel. And then you also have home court advantage, where refs sometimes gives you call because you're playing at home. What the NBA bubble does is take away all of that. No home court advantage, no fans. Everybody's already there, so there's no travel. So you're on the same playing level. And I told somebody, what you're going to see in the bubble is you're going to see a lot of unknown names that are now going to start to excel, because there's no pressure. There's no pressure of the fans and all of that stuff. They're basically playing playground basketball. It's pickup basketball right now. So everybody's on the same level. And I love it because I think you're going to see an underdog come out of this. As you can see, the top seeds are not doing so well. But it's just the playing grounds are just even now, and that's why the games are so competitive.
You said like the unknown player factor. These two guys weren't really unknown, but what do you think about that duel we got to see between like Jamal Murray and Donovan Mitchell in the first round series?
Yeah, so they was already superstars before the bubble. But again now, I call it pickup basketball. To me, that's what they're playing in the bubble. It's not really organized. You go to the gym and and you get 5 guys, and I pick 5 guys, and we just go at it. But like I said, Mitchell and Jamal was already superstars before they got in it. But we're seeing a lot of players now start to score more. Again, because that pressure is not on you. You don't have to worry about that screaming fan. So players are just more relaxed. They're just more relaxed.
You talk about pickup basketball. The game last night with Houston and the Lakers, it kind of felt like that. And yeah. I don't know, maybe what you're saying right now, there's no favorites. Is this a good matchup for Houston?
I think it is. I think it is. And LA better be very, very careful. Houston is going to push the ball at LA every time. And if they're not able to slow Houston down, they're going to be in some serious, serious problems. We already know what Westbrook can do. Don't have to ask about the bearded one. But they are not going to be able to play slow ball with Houston. And you're going to see that LA might be forced to go smaller to match the speed of Houston going forward.
I mean, it's been a great discussion so far today. I was just wondering, is there like anything else you'd like to add?
You know what? I really want to get it out to the community that the department is working hard. We got some great things that once we can get these FEMA projects going, people are gonna be very, very pleased. Emil Griffith Park, the money that we got for Emil Griffith Park, we're gonna be able to do some new things. Maybe change the bleachers from aluminum to stadium seating bleachers. We're going to redo the press box as a bigger press box. We decided that since that's kind of like the mecca of fields in the Virgin Islands, we wanted a press box where the scorekeepers would be in the front, and then media, all the radio and stuff like that would be on another level behind of them. We just did a site visit last week, and that was some of the things that we told the engineer when they're doing the design, that the scoreboard now have to be able to accommodate media in there. So we're trying to do some new things. It's a process. I wish I could just snap my finger and I get all the money and I'm able to give a contractor the job. But we have to go through the steps to make sure that it's done right. It's the federal government money, and when you're using other people's money, you have to do it the way that they say to do it. So I am very hopeful and optimistic that the department, once we start these projects, we're going to be okay.
All right. I guess we're out of time. So thank you, Cal, for taking your time to speak with us today. And I really want everybody to go and check out the forum on Tuesday to get an update on sports in the territory and where we move forward from here.
And you know what? And I apologize for that. And now that I'm on this, I'm thinking that, and it's not too late, I'll reach out to the senator's office, but we need somebody from the media to have their input on this forum, because I think because of what we're seeing with COVID-19, going forward, technology is going to play a big part of how our athletes are seen. And like I said, if we want to save face with our 11 and 12 graders, our juniors and seniors, we're going to have to get the media involved to come out to these training camps, to these combines, to get film on them. So, I welcome you guys to really tune into that forum, give your input on what you guys can do to help elevate sports in the territory a little farther. When I played, I didn't have the Mahat TV and the what's the other one I just did the other day? I can't think of it, but we didn't have what you guys are doing, and I love that you guys cover sports and kind of give our athletes or let the community see our athletes more. So just keep up the good work that you're doing. I'm a supporter of what you guys doing, and anything the department can do to assist you guys helping our athletes, giving them more notoriety, I'm all with it.
Yeah, and on the note of the media at the forum, like I know I'm gonna cover it for the Virgin Islands source. So like if people can't attend, there'll be an article the next day out on what was discussed in the forum and things like that. Just to make sure, like if you can't tune in, like you can still get the information. But it was a great interview, like great insight, and I could definitely tell that the department is moving in the right direction. You got the curveball with COVID, but I feel like you guys are hitting it out of the park.
Yeah, we're not out yet. Like I said, we're trying to weather the storm, but we're no different than a lot of people. I mean, I tell people all the time, it's just not us. I mean, there's a lot of recreation facilities in the mainland that shut down also. So we're kind of looking to see the kind of things that they're doing. Of course, Department of Health is the lead, so we kind of follow their guidance. A lot of times when people are, why you guys are not opening the facilities, it's not that we don't want to. We're following the professionals' leads, and if they say it's still unsafe, we're going to follow them. So,
all right, that was another episode of Mad Hot Monday. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and just remember, stick and stay with Mad Hot Media for the latest and greatest in Virgin Islands sports.